I'm Jess, and I am the Senior Director of Brand and Category Marketing at Michaels. I'm here with my daughter, Alice.
Hi.
And we are going to make a owl collage with you today. And this project is part of the Forest Week of Camp Creatology at Michaels. All right, we're excited to get started, so let us show you what you need. Alice, what's the first thing people need to make this project?
A pencil?
A pencil, yes. So get a pencil, two, in our case, we're using two, but you'll only need one. A nice pack of markers, right? Multiple colors, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want to use for your project.
You'll need some construction paper.
And we found this lovely, multicolor pad from Creatology at Michaels. We love it. We've got a ton of these around the house. They're great for rainy days and any kind of projects you need. You're going to need a glue stick for any type of glue.
And then you're going to need some googly eyes.
And we happen to know where there are some googly eyes. So I'm going to tell you a little secret. This is one of my favorite products in the Creatology line. It is a 901 piece set that are perfect for rainy days. So there's tons of craft supplies in this pack, including googly eyes, including glue, and including craft scissors for kids. So I'm going to be using adult scissors, but Alice is going to be using some craft scissors today. So let us show you what's in this box. It's awesome. Alice is going to do the honors.
So what we have right here is a manual book or something if you want to make some creative stuff or to give you ideas. You can make some little projects with that.
So it's a good project book. Again, if you're stuck for ideas or the kids are looking for something to do on a rainy day, this box has got some good ideas to get you started.
Okay, so we have some kid scissors, which I'm going to be using. Right here we have felt stickers, different type of strings. We have some, foam stickers, different types of string, pads of foam. We also have lots of pom-poms, sparkly pom-poms, lots of pom-poms. We have some beads, like kind of paper beads, sequins. And we have our beautiful googly eyes here. We also have some popsicle sticks right here. Over here, we have some glitter glue. And we have some gem stickers. We also have pipe cleaners, but I like to call them thingamabobbers.
Or you can call them chenille stems. And one thing I really do love about the things in this package is that every single one of these packages inside is resealable. Yeah, so if you're like me and, after a pom-pom project, you have pom-poms everywhere because you burst open the bag and then you're looking for another bag to put your pom-poms in, you don't need it. These all come in resealable packages and a nice carrying case so it stays nice and neat long-term, which is awesome. So today from this, and actually we forgot to mention one thing that it also has. It also contains some tissue paper squares. So we're going to use those today. And you're going to need your craft scissors. And there is glue in here. We have our own glue sticks on the side, so we're not going to take that out. But if you need it, it's there. All right. So we're going to take what we need out and leave all this super cool stuff for a rainy day and another project. And we're going to get started on ours.
Okay.
So what's the first thing we need to get started on our project, Alice?
Well, first, you need to draw your outline of your owl.
So what are you going to draw your owl on?
This piece of construction paper. It can be any really color, but I'm using purple and my mom is using yellow.
That's right.
So your owl is going to contain some shapes. You don't have to do an owl. You can also do like a cat or any other animal. You just think of what shapes you could use in that animal. That's
perfect. And so if you don't have construction paper, one thing I will say before we kind of show you how to draw those shapes is any kind of paper will really do for this project. You could use regular notebook paper. You could use printer paper. Construction paper is nice because it adds color to the project, and it's a good surface to kind of take on the sticky glue. But really any kind of paper will work. So get your paper, get your pencil. And I've actually pre-drawn the owl. So if you'll remember, this is the finished project we're going to work on. So the cool thing about this owl is you actually just start with some basic shapes to create the outline of the owl. And so this is what it looks like when I just trace the basic shapes of the owl. So what did we start with, Alice?
We started with a beautiful fat heart. It's kind of, just think of a heart, but it's kind of oval, circle, ovalish with some kind of humps on it. Then for the ears, we just need some 2 triangles because on the inner side of some ears, it's lighter than the outside. Then over here for the body, you will want to have like a kind of, not half circle, not a full circle, like a
3/4 circle.
Yeah,
maybe?
3/4. You don't draw the full circle. You could and then erase it a little, but that can work too. You for the oh my gosh, wings you have some leaf shapes kind of for the wings. Also, it could be like an eye shape if you draw your eyes this way. Then for the tiny little footsies, we are doing finally some half circles.
That's right. So kind of a fat heart, a big 3/4 circle, 2 mini circles for the feet, some triangles for the ears, and then some kind of leaf shapes for the wings. All right. So really easy, simple shapes that anyone can do. And they don't have to be perfect. So when you're drawing them, most of your owls outside lines will be covered up by paper or other things. So don't worry if you can't draw a perfect shape. That's okay for this project. All right. So let's get started. We're gonna do a little bit of drawing. And I would recommend starting with a pencil just in case you do want to redraw some lines. You've got that eraser, but you don't have to, a pen, a marker, anything would do to get you started. So I'm going to start with that kind of fat heart shape for my head. That's okay. All right, got my fat heart shape. I'm going to do my body next. So kind of a big 3/4 circle. Again, certainly not perfect, but doesn't matter. I'm going to do my triangle ears. So 1 big triangle on each side. And then I'm going to do smaller triangles inside, which will be covered up with construction paper, but this kind of gives me a sense when I'm cutting out my shapes of how much space I need to fill. And then I'm going to put my wings on next. So I'm actually going to use kind of the outside line of the body to give me the outside line of the wing too. So I'm going to follow that line, but come out just a little bit from it to give me some space to kind of create that almost leaf shape. Whoop, that one just doesn't want to stay up, does it? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I made him a little round over here. So I'm going to actually bring that line in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to create my other wing. Again, just kind of using the outside of my half circle to create that wing. I made the wing a bit, oops, that's not quite right. See, I'm just redrawing as I go and using my eraser to kind of make it as even as I can with what's on the other side until I'm happy. Again, all this is going to be covered up, so really not a big deal if your lines aren't perfect. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, and then I'm going to draw my half circles for my feet. 1, 2, and there we go. I've got all of my shapes. So there's my new owl. Again, my fat heart head, my triangle ears, my big 3/4 circle body, my leaf shaped wings, and then my half circle feet. All right. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, next, we are going to start working on the background of our paper. So we're going to kind of leave our owl alone for a moment and start working on the background. Now, the cool thing about the background is you can make it whatever you want to be. in my example, I kind of thought, oh, my owl will be standing on the green grass and maybe there's some beautiful mountains behind her, purple mountains behind her, and a beautiful blue sky. But you can do whatever you want to do. So just choose some different colors of paper, and I'll show you how to tear them. We're going to tear them up into little pieces. You could even make it like a multicolored confetti background. I mean, it could be anything you want it to be. So pick out, next step is to pick out your colors of construction paper. And I'm going to use the same 3 colors I used the first time, which are green, purple, and blue. Okay, so to go to the next step, I'm going to, you just take a piece of construction paper and literally just tear a strip off. Easy as pie. And you can make them as thick or as thin as you want. So this one is a little thick on one side, so I'm actually going to tear it again. And then I'm just going to start tearing it into little pieces. Okay. And I'm going to do that with each of my colors until I feel like I've got a nice little kind of pile of colors to work from. All right, and you don't need to worry about the shapes you're making, how big, how small they are. It's perfectly fine if they're all different pieces or sizes, because you can always tear them again if you've got a specific space you're trying to fill. So I'm going to tear some for purple and tear some for blue.
And also when
yes,
when you're gonna be putting them on, so you're gonna be using your glue. But when you put them on, they don't have to be touching each other. Like on the example, it was kind of separated. You see here, it's just separated, kind of not connected, but it can be connected if you want.
yes, that's right. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to tear my last color and make sure I've got enough of my last color in my pile, and then I'm going to start gluing it to my piece of paper. Oops. Okay.
Well, I'm just going to tear this up.
Okay, I've got my piles of, we'll just call it background kind of confetti here. So I've got my blue and my green and my purple, and I'm going to pull them all over to where, oh, that's not right. Pull them all over here where I can get to them really easily. And again, you can mix these up. You can do whatever you want to do, but you're just going to take your glue stick. And I did find it easiest, honestly, when I was making my example, just to put glue all over the paper. You are going to feel, until it dries, it will be a little sticky in the in-between spots, but that's okay. And you want to try to just go around your lines. Make sure you've got something underneath so you're not getting glue on your table. And just do it in little batches so the glue doesn't dry too much before you're done. But you just take pieces of paper and start sticking them down. And then this becomes like a fun little puzzle, honestly, because you're just trying to figure out, all right, what shapes do I need to fit in and make this work? And you might need to continue to just, tear off pieces of the construction paper you've already torn to make it just fit the space just right. And just like Alice said, you want to leave a little space in between each piece so you get this nice, just kind of almost like a stained glass effect, right, in the background.
But you don't have to.
No, you don't. You absolutely don't have to. If you wanted to make your entire background solid, that would be fine. Or if you wanted to color your background and color or paint a picture in the background of your picture, that would be fine. That's the great part about creativity and making creative projects, is that it really is just whatever you want it to be and whatever you think is the right thing it should be. So Alice and I are going to continue to kind of work on this, and I'm just getting my shapes down to smaller pieces. And this little bit takes a while. So the bigger the pieces, the less time it will take to kind of fill in, but you just go, go, go. Alice, have you ever heard an owl outside our house?
Oh, yes.
We have an owl that lives right outside. It seems like right outside our window. Sometimes I actually see it out when we're out in the driveway. What kind of a noise does he make?
So he makes a noise that kind of sounds like, who cooks for you? It sounds like he's asking, who cooks for you? And I'm like, my mom does. So we are having taco night. So come over.
Who cooks for you? It does sound exactly like that. But luckily he doesn't, he actually is a little more active in the morning than the night, which I appreciate, because then I can sleep.
But what if you're trying to sleep in the morning on Mother's Day?
Then it's unfortunate.
Well, keep it not ruin Mother's Day, because like we have surprises on Mother's Day.
Yeah. All right, so I'm moving over to the next part of my paper, just getting it nice and sticky so I can stick all those pieces of paper down. And the fun thing about collages is really that it's a mix of any number of different types of material. And you can build on top of them, you can like layer them, you can do what we're doing here and kind of give them a stained glass effect. It's a really fun way to work, particularly when you might have, maybe you've got some leftover paper or scraps of paper and random pieces of creative, supplies. This is a really fun way to kind of use up some of those supplies and get to a really beautiful result.
I'm going to stop on this blue right here. So I'm going to move on to the white.
Okay. And you can see I've got some spaces on mine that like my pieces don't quite fit. So I'm just continuing to tear as I need it and make pieces that are just the right size. Oh, I need a little glue there for the space.
Okay.
All right.
Now let's put this over here, take the white and
okay.
And now we're starting on the white.
Alice, what are some other materials you might be able to use in a project like this if you didn't have?
You could use, well, you could use paint, but like you could do kind of spots of paint, or you can mix your paint kind of everywhere, or you could use different brushes of paint. For the paint, you can also use, let's see, crayons. You can draw it in case you don't have the paper, or you can just if you have like this colored paper, but this is your last one, you could use like notebook paper and color on it, or just make a notebook paper colored animal, owl, whatever.
And that you could also, like, if you wanted to, you could use glitter or sequins. These multimedia collages really allow you to use all kinds of materials, and you can really just use your imagination. So I'm almost done with my grass here. Oops, I was picking up some
I don't know what it's called. I didn't even plan.
Your back, it's just your background.
Yeah, it's my background.
Yeah. All right. And just like Alice, you can make any kind of, you don't have to make an owl even, you can make any kind of animal. So Alice is working on a fun monster that she's imagined up. I'm making an owl, but you could make a kitty cat, a shark, any kind of fun critter or imaginary creature would be perfect for a project like this. Okay. All right, I'm kind of done, I think, with most of my grass background here.
And also, like, on this, you don't have to have like everywhere filled in. Like right here, I don't have it filled in. Like you really don't have to have it filled in. Like you don't have to have, you can have big gaps. But like you don't have to fill it in these tiny spots because like if you want to, you can. But like it doesn't really. It's not going to make a big difference. Like kind of.
No, that's one of the, I think again, this is just such a fun project to kind of use what you have in the house sometimes, or I try to keep our craft closet just stocked. So when inspiration strikes, you can kind of grab whatever you've got and create something really, really beautiful.
Our craft closet is my closet.
This is true. I did put the craft closet in Alice's room.
Well, it's more like our Halloween stock closet. Like the Halloween stock, some weird package that we have.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Like,
I don't know.
Isn't that like
it's, hey. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm getting closer and closer with my mountain.
Yeah, I'm la 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 la. And you don't have to use like little pieces. You can use like bigger pieces, like because like my mom said, the bigger pieces you have, the faster it'll go. So if you don't want to spend like 30 minutes on this using really, really tiny pieces, how long we've been doing this for, I don't know how long.
It does feel like it takes a little while to get all these pieces. So the bigger pieces, the better.
Yeah, it's kind of better. But some people may like the smaller pieces because maybe they just like the way it is.
And it's true. It's again, it's just kind of whatever you like. You may want to do bigger pieces in one section and smaller pieces in another. Really doesn't matter. All right, I'm getting my sky down now. I'm gonna kind of work on some of these bigger spots.
Who's getting attached to me? Who really likes me?
It does. It's stuck on you.
Okay, that wasn't even an owl. We don't have owl jokes this time, sadly. La, 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 la. Almost done. Kind of just doing this kind of faster.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, we're trying to fill in all those holes. Perfect. And it's okay if your pieces overlap in some places. That's perfectly fine.
Right here, mine overlaps. And I would suggest, I know we kind of have been not talking about this, but for the glue, I would suggest the glue stick because it's less messy. And when you have, when paper and other type of glue, like the liquid glue, something like that, it kind of gets all messy. And sometimes you accidentally put too much on it and it will kind of leak through and make the paper all sticky. And also if you do a bunch of dots kind of at the same time, it could spread around. So this glue is the better glue to use, I feel like, for me.
Yeah.
But for you, you may have lots more practice than me.
Do whatever feels right for you, whatever you have on hand. Alice is exactly right. Any glue will do. This project does kind of work well with glue stick just because it dries faster. Okay, Alice just reminded me that we need to do a step for our owl. So we're going to do that next.
We kind of forgot.
That's okay. Easy enough to go back and do it. Okay, so I've got all my, a little bit more glue there. Got all my background down now. And again, that step does take a little while. That's okay. It's kind of a fun way to take up some time, but I've got my nice grass and mountains and blue sky. And Alice, tell me about your background.
Well, this background is, so right here you see that we have blue, white, and black. This is kind of like it's not really based off of anything. It's just three
It's just
colors that look good.
Well, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to put my extra pieces of paper off to the side. I might put them in a little baggie later and save them for another project. I'm sure they will come in handy one day.
Or if you want to do this project a second time.
There you go. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to outline the head shape of our animal. Okay, so I'm going to use brown for mine. Alice, what color would you like?
Can I have blue?
Sure.
Please.
So you're just going to take a marker to do this piece, and you don't need to outline your whole shape. We're just going to outline the head. Okay,
but you can outline the whole shape if you want, but it really doesn't matter because the whole part will be covered up. Just if you want to make it kind of look special and different, then you can do it. I'm doing the whole body. And also, like you can use different colors if you have hair on your animal, like some hair spots on your animal, or inside your ears and you want it to be a different color so it kind of stands out more. And you can do that. You don't have it. It doesn't have to be direct, like full on blue, yellow, whatever color you're using.
Yep, you can do whatever you like. Okay, so I've got my head outlined. Next, I'm going to start working on the shapes for my owl. So I'm going to get construction paper to do that. And again, here, I'm just going to follow my example. So I'm going to get a brown piece of construction paper for the outside ears, the wings, and the feet. I'm going to get a little bit of pink for the inside part of the ears to give it some contrast. I'll eventually use it for the embellishments on the little dress I made for my owl. I'll get some purple for the eyes and an orange nose. So good, but you guys can use whatever colors you want and fill it in however you want. And you're basically just going to go back to what we were doing earlier, right? You're going to think about the shapes that you need and just go cut out those shapes. So I'm going to get my brown piece of paper. I'm going to reuse the scrap that I used to do my first piece.
And I'm actually going to come back to this blue.
Okay.
So I'm going to use the blue for the circles around the eye.
Okay.
Or like kind of the around outline of the eye and kind of the middle of the stomach.
Okay.
Because I'm going to do something else with the, what do you call it? Tissue paper.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Okay. So to make my shape, I just started I cut out a leaf-like shape from my piece of construction paper, and I'm just going to put it on the paper and see how close I am to my actual shape that I made. And I'm not too far off. So I'm going to I like the size here, but I need to cut off some here, right? So I'm going to go back and take my pencil and just kind of mark where I need to cut so that it goes right up to the head. Okay.
Also, I'm trying to make two separate pieces. So if you want two exact the same circles, then you can overlap your paper like this you just
fold it in half.
Fold it in half, and then you can cut it, and then you'll have two.
That's exactly right.
Now I'm making.
So I'm just gonna make my second wing, and I don't have a pattern or anything. I'm just kind of winging it, but and I'm gonna see how it fits with my other wing and see how it fits on my paper. So it's about the same size. I didn't do too bad of a job. Way to go, Mom.
I'm gonna glue this.
And again, here, I'm just gonna put it on the paper, kind of line it up where I want it to go, and then see where I need to cut it off to fit on the body, right there. Okay. And I haven't glued my other wing down yet, just because I wanted to make sure I liked how it fit with the other wing and how everything fits together before. I want to make sure it fits the space just right before I actually glue it down. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those wings down. I get Again, make sure you've got something underneath your glue stick because you don't want to get your table all sticky. As you're gluing those parts and pieces down, and just fit it where you think it should go. Just like that. I'm going to do my other wing now.
And I'm gonna glue this down. This should be easy.
Wing number 2.
You're really good.
All right, there we go. All right, so I've got my wings. Next, I'm going to continue using my brown piece of paper and do the feet and the ears. So just use my little scrap here. I'm just going to cut out 2 half circles. If you wanted to cut out a full circle and cut it in half, you could do that too. That would work just as well. Sometimes what I do when I have to do 2 shapes that are similar is I will cut out the first one. And this one just so I can get the right angle. I'll cut out the first one, make sure it fits kind of how I want it to, and it does, good. And then I'll use it as a guide for the next one. So I'm just going to kind of cut out a square here for myself so it's easier to access.
Okay.
And I'm going to take this first piece and just line it up on the paper, and then I'll cut around and use it as my guide to make my second foot. So you can kind of make your own. It won't be exactly the same, but they'll be similar. All right, so now I have 2. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I like the placement of these. They don't feel too big. I think they look just fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and cut, glue those down rather.
Okay, that's good.
All right, 1 foot down.
1 step down.
Over, feet down. Excellent. Perfect. All right. You okay there? Okay. I'm making progress. You can see my owl is starting to really come together, which is awesome. Next, I'm going to cut out those big triangles for the ears, which is easy. You just do 1 big triangle. You may. 1 second. Here you go. There you go. So I got 1 triangle. I'm going to look and see how it fits on the paper. Good, but maybe a bit too big. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time and just kind of trace out where I want to cut it. Perfect. Let me go ahead and glue this down. All right, I've got 1 ear down. Oh, I got it just a little bit off my line, so I want to move that over. That's the other great thing about sticky glue or glue sticks is they don't adhere right away, so you have just enough time to fix any mistakes. All right, I'm cutting out my 2nd ear triangle. Again, I'm going to take it and put it on my paper and see if it's big enough. Yep,
also
a little too big.
Sticks dry a little bit faster. Yeah, because I messed up on this eye kind of part where it's like the kind of fur on the outside of the eye. I messed up on it because it's the wrong way, and the glue is dry. And finish.
All right, so I've got my 2 triangles down. Next, I'm going to take steal some of that paper, pink paper from Alice here in a moment.
Can you help me cut this?
Sure. What do you need?
I don't know how to cut this.
Okay. You just need, do you want just this piece right here?
Yeah, this is.
Okay. So Alice has an interesting shape on hers and she's trying to figure out how to make the space. So she's actually lined it up pretty well. So really all she needs to do, she's lining it up to her lines. All we need to do is now trace the ear to see where she has it. I think this probably will do. Why don't you try cutting that and see if that works. Okay, sweetie? I had to guess a little bit. That should get you most of the way there. All right, I'm just gonna cut some scrap pieces of the pink and I'll give Alice the paper back to keep working on it. But again, here, I'm just gonna make 2 smaller triangles. These are gonna go inside my owl's ears, triangle ears. So there's just some nice differentiation there. Make sure I've got the right size. Looks pretty good. I'll do one more.
Let's see. And could you hand me the black marker?
Sure thing.
I'm gonna actually color in some of my stuff.
Okay. Oh, I didn't make sure this
Lightly color it in.
It works. Good. All right, we got our ears almost done. The next thing I'm going to move on to are my eyes.
Kind of colored in the nose and mouth.
Nice. Oh, nice. Okay. So, see, Alice is, I'm going to be using construction paper for some of those things, but Alice is using markers. Again, you can really make this project your own in many different ways. So again, I'm making good progress on my owl. We've got some round eyes to make, and then kind of a carrot shaped nose is what I would call it. And then we're getting close to being done. So almost done with all our owl's body parts. So I'm going to move on and grab a purple piece of paper.
I'm done for what I need right now.
Okay.
I think the last part is what we need is the paper stuff.
Okay. Oh, the tissue paper?
Yeah,
okay, so you can, Alice is going to move on. She's a couple steps ahead of me. Yeah, so she's going to move on and use these pieces of tissue paper. And the pieces of tissue paper you use exactly like you kind of did these. You don't have to tear them up, but you can. But you just glue them down just like you did all these other pieces of paper. So again, that awesome 901 piece Creatology box of supplies has a nice little stack of tissue paper in a number of different colors. So Alice is just going to choose the colors that she wants
and
for
also,
her project.
You don't have to put the tissue paper all over it. You can just put the tissue paper on a little bit of areas. That's what I'm going to do. And also, you don't like some substances for the tissue paper could be
Substitutions.
Could be just normal paper, like what would you call it? The paper that we
Construction paper,
the paper that we're using right now.
Mm-hmm.
You could be using just coloring it in like I did. I could have used some other colors for my nose and eyes, but I decided to draw it in with a marker. You can use what else is there? Mom, do you have any other?
You could use glitter.
Glitter. You could use, like I'm saying, you can use pom-poms.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If you're making kind of a monster like me, you can use googly eyes. But I think that would take a while. But you can use googly eyes.
You certainly could. All right, I've almost got my face shapes all done. I'm kind of making my little teardrop shaped nose, or it kind of looks like a carrot, kind of a fat carrot. I'm getting there.
My monster is going to be kind of a messy monster.
It's going to go just like that. So I'm going to glue those pieces down. You'll see I cut out 2 round circles for the owl's big ol' eyes, and that upside down teardrop or carrot shape, whatever you want to call it, for its nose. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down.
So, and also, like the paper, the tissue paper that I'm doing right now, does not have to be like completely, it can be messy. Like my animal monster is messy. So I'm kind of just winging it, like I'm winging it. So it's kind of not in the lines, it's just a messy little monster.
And that's okay. I think most monsters, if I had to guess, probably are kind of messy.
Yeah.
Okay, next. One of my favorite things of all time, googly eyes. Okay, so we're going to add some googly eyes to the center of the circles for our owl. Again, you can just apply these with some craft glue. Easy enough. And you can see my owl is really starting to take shape.
And also, you can see this. You may be able to, you can check, but on some googly eyes, I'm going to use this one as an example. We don't have them. On some of them, they have this sticker back. So right here, there's kind of like a sticker. You can kind of get it with your nail. You can peel it and then it has a sticky side. But these don't have the stickers. I checked before we did this and they don't have stickers.
So you see my owl is really starting to come together. The last thing I'm going to do is add this tissue paper. I'm going to give her a little dress once again, just like in my example. Once you're done with that, we'll add the finishing touches and celebrate our finished project. But once you're done with that, you're welcome to add some embellishments. So on my example, I created some construction paper trim for her dress. This is when you could go back into that awesome craft box and get some of those sticky gems or pom-poms or glitter glue and really do some fun zhuzhing to your project. But we are just gonna stick to the basics here and make her a pretty kind of frilly dress. And I might use some different colors of tissue paper. Something to note here, it's okay if it overlaps with your construction paper. Ultimately, I'm just gonna go back in and kind of tear off the edges so that I get kind of, it's just her wings look like they're covering her dress, but I'm gonna do that last. Awesome, thank you. So I'm just gonna put some glue on her belly here so I can fill in with all those tissue paper pieces. Some other fun things you could do here with the tissue paper is you could even give it a little trim. So you could take your tissue paper and let's see if I can do this. Just kind of make some little cuts. So it kind of gives it a little frilly element to her outfit, if that's his or her outfit.
And
if you so choose.
Since right now I'm kind of wrapped up with my beautiful monster, I'm gonna use some green glitter glue from the amazing pack, arts and crafts pack. Now let me put the pack. And I'm gonna make him a little dress, kind of.
Nice, I like it.
Maybe like a, let me see. I'm gonna make the bottom. It's like a skirt, not a dress.
All right. And then I've almost got my last layer of, oops, put some glue down here. Oops. And you'll notice tissue paper is, you know, it's very, very thin. They call it tissue paper for a reason because it's very, very thin. So when you're putting down when you're using it, you want to be a little bit careful because it tears very easily, but it's really fun. And if you've ever, another project you can do with these to give it a really stained glass effect is you can kind of add some, brush it with water and then the colors bleed a little bit, but that's another project for another day. We're not going to do that today. And just so I have some nice clean edges here, I'm going to just tear off a little bit so it doesn't, the tissue doesn't cover up my wing, and it kind of looks nice with the rest of my rough collage outline too.
And also I took some of the pink glitter glue and gave my monster some cute little teeth. This is a happy but messy monster.
Happy and messy. I think those two things should go hand in hand at all times. All right. I think we have made two awesome collage pieces today, don't you, Alice?
Yes.
Yes. So Alice's monster and my forest owl. We would love to see what you made today. I hope you enjoyed this collage owl camp creatology class. If you would love to share your project, we'd love to see them. Just hashtag Make It With Michaels and post it. And we'd love to see what you made too. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time.
Bye.